arguable after football is table tennis. A lot of people still think that after football in this country is basketball. You can say that. That's why I said arguable. But when a tournament takes place in Nigeria in regards to table tennis, fans jump packed that if you have your videos concentrated on a particular section of the hall, you would think it's a football tournament, but it's not a football tournament. It's a table tennis tournament. Just as we saying, the World Table Tennis Lagos Contender took place and has been much interesting than ever. And this also should show that the much energy we put in football, that should also be put in table tennis. Unfortunately, if I may see that, there's also good and there's also something fair, not bad, is that most of African players that came to Lagos, none of them got to the group stage about it. We spoke with the Bayelsa State chairman of table tennis, said that there's still so much work to be done. But I have this wonderful highlight in that particular hall, the famous indoor sport hall of the Tessin Balogun Stadium called Laide Okoya Indoor Sport Hall, where the best of the best table tennis event takes place every year. And this is the first of its kind, the WTT Contender that took place. And it's more interesting to also know that Nigeria participated, but the Asians took away the trophy. Enjoy this wonderful moment. And we also spoke with stakeholders. We spoke to the president of Nigerian Table Tennis Federation. We also spoke with the Lagos State Sport Commission Chairman, Shola Ayekwaku, and also Enitan Oshodi, who is also the vice president of the International Table Tennis Federation. Enjoy this wonderful moment.
The winners have emerged, the losers have emerged, but the lesson is that you learn on your mistakes and become winner next time. You can see that the world number 35 is taking world number 14 out. That's table tennis for you. And so, to me, there's no winner, there's no loser, they're all the same. The lesson here is the next time they're meeting, the best will come out of them. Of course, we have players. We have players. And I'm assuring in the next contender, you're going to see Nigeria in the last 2-3. We feel great. First, ITT have seen in us that we have the capacity to host, and that's why they gave us the right to host. And you can see it's one of the best hosting in the world. So I salute right from our Vice President of ITTF, Barrister Laide Oshodi, for a wonderful job, who spearhead the LOC, and of course all members of the LOC. Dr. Tando have done extremely well. This is fantastic, one of the best competition organized from this part of the world. And I'm assuring you, next outing you're going to see Nigerians on top.
Well, first of all, our players get exposure. When they joined the main draw, they were all shaking. The atmosphere and situation was a bit much for them, but that gives them experience, and then they can be used to move forward to play better on different more platforms. Again, we have to do more of this. This is the first contender series, so we hope that we can do more of this, because and again, you know, that helps them to accumulate points. The longer they play, the more they play, and then they get more confident to play at a higher level. And so we hope that happens. But we have to give credit to Enitan Oshodi, the VP, ITTF Worldwide, and he's made sure he's pushed the envelope to his base and make sure that keeps growing and that we keep raising the bar. So I think, first of all, most of the credit must go to him. To improve this is about infrastructure. We have to improve infrastructure. We've seen how well they play in world-class places all over the world. We have to improve this. This is the only indoor sports hall in Lagos State. That has to change. For you to be able to stoke the interest in multiple sports, get them platforms to play in a conducive environment, encourage a career, we have to get more infrastructure in terms of indoor sports arenas, and from there can move forward. Oh, quite high, because even 2 years ago, sorry, last year when the whole process started to, after last year's three-part series, the ITTF already said, look, they wanted, and thanks to Anton again, they want Lagos to be a base, and they asked if we could host the Contender series in addition to the other ones. And we said we could, and from then it was all systems go. So it's not a 2-3 month preparation. It's been on since last year, and and they are very, very efficient, which I like, because it helps to push us in terms of capacity to host competitions at world-class level. You can see how they transform the indoor hall, but we can do better so that people are more comfortable. People don't want to leave, and we can also add more events outside of the core event to ensure that we make an atmosphere or to make a bigger event out of it that's memorable for fans and encourage young ones to play.
This tournament started, roughly about 10 years ago, and it continues to grow. It gets bigger, gets better. Now it's part of the WTT World Tour Series, and that is a great achievement for a country like Nigeria in terms of table tennis. The best players in the world coming here. Our own young players, you saw them in the hall today, excited, seeing these players, learning from them, practicing with them, and that's the only way we can continue to make an impact and develop. So we're very pleased with the tournament. Of course, hitches here and there. There's still a lot we can do to improve, and we continue to excel every year. But for me, a lot of young people working on this, learning how to do things properly, and that gives us a lot of excitement for the future. The point with the World Series is that you go from country to country, as many different countries as possible. But what you don't want is to have exactly the same thing everywhere. And Lagos gives a unique flavor to this tournament. The noise, the crowds, the fans, the food. For this year, the athletes have been raving about the food. The players, our own style, and it gives the African players a chance as well to develop in Africa. So for us in the ITTF, this is something that we'll continue to support, and hopefully, moves to the star contender next year, bigger. And then, of course, we look at the top 32, the best players in the world, all gathered in Lagos. We're really pleased with this. 50 of the top 150 men were here in Lagos. That tells you Lagos is a unique venue for ITTF. The truth is the NTTF, they're trying. We're working hard. We still support the NTTF, but I think it's time. What we see, from what we've seen here, we see that what we're lacking now is the development of our young players. That next step, and that is coaching. It's funding and coaching. Funding to get the right coaches in. Our coaches need help. It's not saying bringing in new coaches. Our coaches need to learn from the best coaches in the world. The same way our players go out to learn from the best players. Our coaches have to do the same thing. So the NTTF has to find the funding to develop these young players, to get the right coaches in, and get them playing in tournaments. As we speak now, all the players are leaving, 140 players from abroad. A lot of them are moving on to Tunisia. The World Tour starts on Monday there. Very few of our players will be there because we don't have the funding. So we have to look at that funding model. The NTTF has to work with the government. If they can't, then the private sector is your only hope to raise the required funding for these young athletes. But because of the talent we have, it will be a crime if we can't find the money to support them. Look, first of all, I must give credit to everybody that's worked on this. Over 200 young men and women working very hard, led by Dr. Tando, the chairman of the LOC. And of course, the other part of it that people forget to tell is the story of this tournament keeps growing, and that's the media. The coverage is fantastic. All over the world, they know about this tournament. And so we're really for me, I'm thinking, what next now? We need to do this bigger, better, and hopefully next year that will come along. We say a big thank you to all our sponsors, but most importantly for me, the young men and women that worked on this and the media.
Interesting moment. And like Anita showed us just said, that the whole world is honored. The whole world was concentrated in Lagos at that moment where we had World Table Tennis Contender Lagos. Now we know that such tournaments are also going on in Tunisia. After the one that ended in Lagos. And just to say that Lagos is the home of table tennis, and I'm sure that there are many other efforts to ensure that we have infrastructures across the city of Lagos. Like Shola Ayekpeko also rightly said, that when we talk about indoor sports hall in Lagos, the only place we just mentioned is the Telsin Balogun indoor sport or Molade Okoya indoor sport. And that's something should be of a shame that after all these years, many international tournaments, badminton is indoor sport all of the Telsin Balogun Stadium. Cricket, I beg your pardon, cricket is not indoor sport, or squash, and also other sports are indoor, table tennis, squash, badminton, or indoor sport. Or even when it comes to boxing, sometimes you have them there. And it's a big shame though these tournaments are welcome ideas, but it's a big shame that every roads, when it comes to sport, always lead to that all. I wish you can just have a glimpse of how that all looks like, where we see everybody jubilating and rejoicing. But it shouldn't just be just that all. It should just be a all in outside Lagos, a all in Sule, a all in Anokpaja, a all in other places in Lagos. I'm sure stakeholders will be looking for what to do to ensure that if that all was human, I'm sure it would have broken down. I tell you. What can you say? If that all was to be human, it would have broken down many events. Why do we have a problem of infrastructure in sport in this country?
In fact, I am, first of all, let me even say thumbs up to some point, to some extent, thumbs up for Lagos State. You know, because Lagos, if not for Lagos, and maybe one or two other states, perhaps sport development would have been dead. You know, or rather, would have been left to just individual efforts of willing sportsmen and women. But you see Lagos put a lot of effort. Outside of Lagos, what you just have is other states, not until National Sports Festival, you know. So, like you said, and like Aikpeku said, infrastructure is a big one in sport development. Because, look at Lagos, Ikorodu, even deep inside Ikorodu, you have all this matter, you have talent in all those places. But for them to come all the way to maybe Road Park, or rather to Teslim Balogun or National Stadium. So we should have, like you said, we should have all such centers in Anokpaja, Ikorodu, all other parts of Lagos. And not only in Lagos, we should have in all other states. Nigeria has a lot of talent, you know. So if we have enough talent, if we have enough infrastructure in Nigeria and we make it big business, it will be better for the country, even economically and socially.
Thank you very much, Laide, Akano. You've been with us throughout the program. A sports stakeholder, and from the focus on Timileyin Adekunle, under 16 Tottenham player, open captain, is open to play for the Super Eagles. You also looked at the fact that Nigeria needs to do so well in terms of infrastructures and all that, and we making sport business. Thank you very much once again, Laide Akano. It's for every interesting moment, there's always a stop time, and this is our stop time for today's segment of Plus Sport and for today's program. Same time next week, we'll be giving you all what you need to know in the world of sport. What does that mean? If you need to know more about sport, stay tuned to us from Monday to Fridays, weekdays, the hour of 5 p.m. in the evening. But when it comes to Saturday like this, set your time to 11 a.m. I'm Mudashiru Shitu. Thanks for watching.